Hi babes, how are you? My name is Moran. Welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit. I am extra comfy on my couch today for this episode, and it is gonna be a wild one because the topic of today is just my picks of most recent Reddit insanity. And you better believe it's gonna be good. So without further ado, let's dive in. So the first story I have for you today comes from Confession subreddit. I turned myself into a woman with AI and it completely broke me. I think I've completely lost it. 2 weeks ago, I made a nude naked image of myself as a woman just for fun. She was super hot. I should have deleted it. Instead, I made more full body naked nudes. Filthy, sexy, erotic pictures of myself. Before I knew it, I had a whole gallery of myself in ways no man should ever see himself. Then, after a while, I didn't even need the AI anymore. I could just picture it, close my eyes, and imagine myself as a woman getting railed by me. Just me, my brain, and Cream Puff, my now battle-worn favorite flashlight. Proper food, cleaning, and hygiene was already at a low priority before this, but these last 2 weeks have made it worse. 2 weeks of nothing but jerking it to the thought of myself. Today was supposed to be different. I was going to eat real food, feel normal again. After a shower, I opened my delivery app, picked a meal, was about to order, then I saw it. Flashlight launch. Same day delivery. In the same app. That is a machine where you mount your flashlight and it automatically moves it like someone else's you. A hands-free flashlight milking machine. Yeah, no dinner today after all. Just me and my freshly delivered $200 automatic milking machine. And the realization that I fantasize about myself. This got way too crazy right off the bat. Dude, you need help. You need to go to therapy. This is just so messed up. Like a lot. Also, I don't appreciate the phrase milking machine. It really upsets me. The top comment in here is a modern day narcissist with AI instead of a pool of water. That is a very good point. Dude just took masturbation to a whole another level. Let's see the next story. Am I overreacting to my husband, 29 male, almost killing me, 29 female, during a prank? So the other day, I, female 29, had to have a broken tooth pulled and hardware put in for a fake tooth to be put in later on. It was one of my bottom back molars, so can't be seen, and a pretty big tooth. I figured it would be an easy in and out procedure, but because of extra damage to the area and my horrible fear of dentists, I elected to be fully sedated for the procedure. When all was said and done, I was really loopy, but my husband, 29 male, drove me home and all was well. I vaguely remember he tucked me into bed and told me to rest and feel better. I suddenly woke up to a harsh feeling in my throat and not being able to breathe. I was super out of it from the drugs and my brain just couldn't think of what to do. I dropped out of bed and crawled frantically, but it's like my brain couldn't work to figure out I was choking and needed to give myself the Heimlich. By the time I thought about it, I was already running out of air and it was like I couldn't get out of the hallway in time to find something to save myself with. It's hard to get into it because it was horrifying and painful and so fast and I was so out of it, but I ended up passing out in the hallway trying to find something to save myself with. I really thought this is it. My baby is 2 rooms over. My husband is home. He's going to find me dead, but I woke up who knows how long after to my husband crying and holding me. He'd apparently given me the Heimlich and saved my life. At first you're just grateful, you know? But as my brain started to reboot, I thought, wait, wasn't I in bed? Wait, how did he know I was suffocating? Wait, what was I suffocating on? Wait. Well, it was a tooth. Not a real tooth. Some cheesy fake tooth you'd find at the dollar store in a kid's toy. How did it get in my throat? Well, that took longer to understand, but I figured out pretty quickly from my husband's blubbering that it was supposed to be funny. My husband's a prankster and wants to be an influencer even though he doesn't really have the following. He thought it would be funny to pop a fake tooth tooth in my mouth and have me wake up still loopy from the drugs and think that a tooth had fallen out from the hole in my gum. He was recording from the baby monitor, hoping to get something funny that would go viral. I have no idea what to do here. I'm so mad. I could have died. If he wouldn't have been watching the camera footage that I watched over and over again, I'd be dead. I was so drugged up, I couldn't think my way out of it, and he just put something in my mouth for me to swallow and die from. I've watched the footage a million times, and every time it makes me more sick to my stomach. I have no idea how long I was in the hole before he found me, but it was a few minutes before you can hear the gasping and crying really faintly in the footage. Could it have happened at 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes? He keeps crying and apologizing, but every time it makes me want to hit him. I don't know what to think. I'm just filled with rage and disgust. I could have died over a prank, and I don't know how to process it. All he's done for the past day is cry and apologize. I know he didn't mean to hurt me, but I can't even look at him. I know it's only been a day, but when will I be able to think my way out of this? How should I go about responding to all of this? It's like my brain is still stuck from when I was crawling through the hallway. So Reddit, am I overreacting when it was an accident/prank gone wrong? I am going to repeat for millionth time. I hate pranks. You are not overreacting, and also a brain cell was chasing your husband, but he was faster. Because a person who would get that idea in their head when their partner just came back from full sedation, and when you're sedated, you already can have complications because you are not in full control of yourself, and like you have to kind of let the time pass and like sleep it off. And I forgot where I was going with the sentence. It's just insane. To me, this is just complete stupidity. I have no other words for this. We have an edit. So this has blown up way more than I expected to answer some common questions. He's always been a prankster and always liked the idea of randomly blowing up on social media. It's not his whole identity, but he watches a lot of TikTok and thinks this kind of thing is hilarious. No, he's never done anything this bad. He can be thoughtless, but normally isn't careless. Yes, he's very apologetic. I just can't think to hear it right now because I can't stop replaying it in my head and watch the footage over and over. Y'all need to stop assuming everyone on Reddit is fake. Well, I wish the situation was, it isn't. I'll take it as a compliment to very extensive English major that you think I'm a bot, but no. A few people have messaged me asking for his account info. I'm not going to let my own husband be doxxed. No matter what happens, that comes back on me too. I have a lot of thinking to do and a lot of replies to go through. I'm trying to go through them all, but this was an overwhelming couple of days even before this flood of responses, so be patient with me. I also have a baby and feel like hell. My sister is coming to stay with me for the night, but she lives about 3 hours away. She doesn't know everything that happened, but she knows I'm not okay. Hubby has asked to stay. I said he can until my sister gets here for the baby's sake, but he needs to go across town to his brother's for the night, at least. Thank you to those who have been kind. For those who haven't, what was the point really? Like, why are you taking joy in making me feel worse or trying to discredit me? What does that get you? Well, the people who do that are just miserable, and believe me, they're having probably a much worse time with themselves and living in their own skin. So gross. Edit 2. My sister is here. My husband went to his brother's for the night. He had a talk with my sister while I took care of the baby, and she's going to break down what he said to her when we sat down together this morning. I haven't talked to her yet. I'm still in my room and trying to absorb everything that's happened and what everyone is saying. One of our friends found this post and sent it to him. He's been reading the comments and sent a few messages with apologies, but acknowledged he needed to give me some space to think. We're going to meet tomorrow or the next day when the anesthesia is entirely out of my system and I'm entirely clear-headed to have a real talk about what happened. Yes, I have the footage. No, I haven't gone to the police. This is a lot. I went from thinking I was dying to realizing that terrifying moment was my husband's fault. My whole world has been flipped upside down over a fake fake dollar store tooth. I don't believe he's a sociopath. I think he's just stupid. He's very apologetic, but my trust is broken and I don't know where to go from here. I'll do a proper update after we talk and I make some decisions. I'm taking all these posts into account, but there is so much I can't possibly respond to everyone. Also, to the person who called me abusive because I said I want to hit my husband, seriously? I almost die and I say that I can't stand to hear his apologies. It's a hyperbole. Don't know if you understand what that means, but I feel so physically weak I couldn't have swatted away a fruit fly. Sounds like projection. Maybe you need more help than I do? Definitely, for sure, 100%. Thinking you want to hit someone after something this traumatic is an entirely normal response. I mean, planning to do it and considering doing it seriously and doing it, now that's abusive, but like, you can't not have those emotions. Like, those are emotions. People be weird. Anyway, that's not the point. I also don't think he's a sociopath or even abusive or was trying to kill you, unless you recently got some life insurance. Because, oh my god, whenever people get life insurance, especially if it's like a pretty big sum, I'm always starting to get suspicious. However, I do think this was just pure stupidity, and I do believe that the marriage is salvageable from this point. You need time to process this, you need time to come to terms with what happened, and that it was a very, very horrible experience caused by a very dumb mistake. You probably have to agree from this point on that he will never ever again try to pull any pranks on you, even if it's like the most innocent thing in the world. Like, no, none whatsoever. And you probably go from there. But man, this is a horrifying experience. The top comment here is, oh my god, what if you hadn't woken up or gone down the hallway? Are you okay being married to a dumbass? Jesus Christ. The OP goes, honestly, one of the things I can't stop thinking about. Yeah, I would also suggest some, like, at least temporary therapy to work through this issue, because this clearly, from the way this is written, this traumatized you. And I mean, who wouldn't be traumatized by nearly dying over the stupidest possible? So yeah, I think you might need like some help in that regard, because oh my god, that is just unhinged. But we are moving to the next story that comes from relationship advice, a little bit lighter. My boyfriend, 22 male, won't stop curling my 19 female hair in my sleep. My boyfriend is curling my hair in my sleep. How do I confront him? My boyfriend has always been interested in my hair and he likes to watch me curl it, etc. Then he started asking me to curl it. Just subtle hints at the beginning, which then evolved. After this going on for a few weeks, it progressed and he became more pushy about it, resulting in lots of arguments. These got progressively worse for a few months. Then recently, probably about 2 weeks ago, I noticed strands of my hair were curled when I woke up in the morning. I also noticed my curlers have been moved around and are slightly warm when I go to use them. At first, I didn't think much and just put it down to my erratic sleeping habits, but my hair has progressively gotten more curly every time it happens. I don't know how to confront him about this, as when I tried, he denied and became extremely agitated. If anyone has had similar experiences and or some advice, please share. I would really want to know if anyone actually had similar experiences. This is just wild, but also kind of cute, but also super weird. The first thing that comes to my mind is to sit him down and be like, honey, okay, you clearly like my hair, and there are all the evidence that I need to, you know, conclude that you do this while I sleep, and be like, maybe once a week we do like my favorite stylist type of event where you sit down and y'all make some drinky drinks and he curls your hair to like entertain him. I don't know, it's just very interesting. And the top comment here is, every day I think I cannot be surprised by this app, and every day I am proven wrong. That is very true. Reddit is a marvel of human evolution. And the next story continues the ride on the insanity roller coaster with my ex forced me to dress as Elsa from Frozen whenever we had sex. Trigger warnings, this one is gonna get heavier. Obsessive behavior, sexual assault, and sexual coercion. I really hope this is the right sub for this. I think enough time has passed, 4 years, since this relationship ended, that I can finally talk about it. I know that this might sound like creative writing, but I swear to God this is true. My ex-boyfriend had a fetish for Queen Elsa of Arendelle from Disney's Frozen. Be as skeptical as you want, I'm the one that had to deal with this bullshit. I was still a super religious fundamentalist at the time the story took place, so I had no idea what a healthy relationship looked like. Now that I can look back on this, I can see just how strange this was. When I was about 18, I started dating a boy from my church. We ended up dating for around a year and a half total. At first, he seemed funny and charming, athletic, blah blah blah. He was all my teenage fantasies poured into one little blonde mole. About 6 months after we started dating, Frozen came out. I thought it was a cute movie and everything, but my ex, on the other hand, oh boy, it was like a switch flipped in him. I was not prepared for what came next. At first, it seemed innocent enough. He bought Frozen t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. He liked to sing along to the songs while we were driving. No big deal, he found something he enjoys. Normal, right? Then he started to grow an obsession. Every time we went on a date, it was always at one of our places watching Frozen. I suggested other activities, but was always shut down. I didn't mind much because I loved him and wanted to spend time with him any way I could, and if I had to suck him off when Do You Wanna Build a Snowman was playing in the background, then god damn it, I'd suck him off when Do You Wanna Build a Snowman was playing in the background. He bought a storybook that basically told the plot of Frozen in book form and would grab different parts of my body while I read it to him. These events led to both of us losing our virginity while Let It Go was playing in the background. Not my proudest moment. Speaking of Let It Go, he used to say that when he came. The love letters... I'm sorry, this is so awful, but like, I can't handle it. The love letters and good morning messages he wrote to me started to reference the movie and the characters more than they talked about him or I. Sooner or later, the obsession turned over to me personally. He wanted me to look like Elsa. My hair is naturally dark and he begged me to make it blonde and braided. I ended up lightening it a bit for a summer and he got angry that I didn't come out fully bleach blonde. He made me do eyeshadow in purple like the character in the movie and made me show him how to do it. He made that outfit for me to wear when I visited his apartment. Well, he made me a list of things I had to buy for myself to wear to his apartment every time I visited. That included an ice blue top that showed lots of cleavage, white shorts, and an over-the-top amount of silver jewelry. He even begged me to purchase a $50 Elsa gown from a Halloween shop and became angry when I wouldn't blow $50 of my limited nanny salary on a Halloween costume that would be hiked up around my waist and stained in cum in a matter of seconds anyway. When I wouldn't cough up the money to purchase an Elsa gown, he gave me the silent treatment for nearly 2 days. The creepiest part of this is that after he went through all of these detailed fantasies of wanting to a Disney character, he approached me and asked me if we could name our first daughter Elsa. You know, after he me in while watching the movie in HD. I suppose I should feel bad for kink shaming him, but honestly, he was such a piece of shit to me for not being a living toy shaped like a kid's movie character. So here it is, world. This girl's ex had a fetish for Queen Elsa from Disney's Frozen. Sincerely, Nipples the Clown and Unwilling Elsa. Girl, this is next level. I am sorry. First of all, I'm really sorry. I was laughing earlier, but it's just because, I mean, this is ridiculous. But that dude had to find a better way to go about his kink. And also, one of the things that infuriates infuriates me here to the highest degree is that he was like also demanding you to invest money in his fantasy. Like, dude, if you're already coercing your partner, which is absolutely awful, but like if you are enacting your kink with a partner that they don't necessarily enjoy, maybe don't also extort them. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Relevant comments. I had to take a quick sip of water after the whole naming our firstborn thing. It was already pretty wild up until that point. The OP goes, I didn't realize how up it all was until I was chatting with my old high school friend about bad high school sex. She mentioned guys coming quickly and I told her about this. I didn't realize how up it all was until I saw the look on her face. Someone goes, also, if he sexualizes Elsa and wants to name his daughter Elsa, well, yuck. The biggest yuck. And the OP goes, I really do hope he's over this now. It's been 2 years since I've even seen his face in person. I should text him and ask if he still has an Elsa fetish, just out of curiosity. Someone asks for updates since, and she goes, we hooked up once about 4 months post-breakup when he didn't incorporate any Frozen stuff. I realized then that bad sex without Frozen in the background is just bad sex. He also failed out of university and works at a pizza place. Someone says, well, I hope this isn't real, but I know it is, and that's what's disturbing me so much about it. Good God. I swear to every higher being that exists that this is true. I'll see if I still have some of his love notes about Frozen. I burnt most of them. And then we have a letter that OP showed us from the ex. I'll show it to you on screen and let's go. I love you so. I always thought that I would never find anyone that would ever let me love you the way I do. I always want to be there for you no matter what. That's all you have to do is nothing. Just let me treat you the way you should feel. You never have to do anything, but let me show you my love that will make me happy. And by the way, I think that you have the most beautiful singing voice in the whole world, or might even be prettier than Elsa's, although I can't wait to see you in the Elsa outfit. I don't know why, but she's just so pretty. I'm not saying she's more than you. You don't have to dress like her, but I thought it was the cutest thing ever on Sunday of you in that dress. You're just the cutest person alive. And just tell me if you want anything. That's what I'm here for, to show you love and support you. I don't know what I'm writing. I just want you to know that you are perfect. I just love you so much and Frozen, but mainly you with all my heart forever and ever. I love you, princess. Okay. Let's just say this is something I never even dreamt of seeing in my life. Okay, there is a comment from OP responding to some other deleted comment. I was cleaning out my dresser yesterday and found the bundle of love notes from my exes. I burned some of them, but something inside told me to save them for some reason. I'm still going through therapy from a lot of the things my ex made me do, forced me to dress like Elsa from Frozen whenever we had sex, made me have sex with him when I told him no, stealing money from me, and it feels good to tell this story. I know it's not super believable, and if it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't have believed it either. But then I found this. Oh no, I think it's actually believable because the stories I believe most on Reddit are the ones where you just like read them and just you're convinced that it's very unlikely to come up with like this. And I know, imagination is boundless and you can dream up anything you want, but like, this is way too coherent and specific and unhinged to be made up. There is also a bunch of relevant comments further, but I think I literally had enough of this. You may go through the link in the description and see for yourself. I mean, there's not much more to add, but if you're curious, go check that out. And we are moving on to the next story, which is the guy, 22 male, that I, 21 female, am dating is learning ASL for my brother, but my friends think it's creepy. How do I proceed with this? I, 21 female, met John, 22 male, in a college class last semester. He's an overall great guy and he's very respectful and kind. He also has a great sense of humor and we have lots of similar interests. We've been friends since then and we've started dating this July. He's the first person I've ever dated in my life. Last September, he met my family when I visited home for my brother's birthday. My brother, Trev, 19 male, has been deaf since birth, so my whole family communicates with him either through sign language, Trev's lip reading, but we still just sign as reflex, or through text. During our small celebration at home, it was clear that my parents liked John. He was very charming, funny, and respectful. He even tried to connect with Trev by typing some of his jokes for Trev to read, although my brother could lip read as well. Whenever John would tell the story, either I or my parents would sign for Trev. My parents said that they're happy that I found a sweet and caring guy in John. Of course, I'm glad to hear this. Before we went back, John and Trev had a quick Call of Duty gaming session. For someone with Trev's condition, he's a really talkative guy, lol. He's very expressive and likes to communicate a lot, especially when gaming. Of course, he couldn't outright trash talk, but he does the closest thing with his hands. So there we are at Trev's room with John and Trev playing while I'm translating for them. I was laughing way too hard because Trev was trying his best to trash talk John, like saying he's weak and trying to say all these expletives, but I'm trying my best to tone it down for John. Meanwhile, I'm also translating John's instructions and strategies for Trev. Also, because this was the first time John met my family, he was saying all these praises to Trev like good job or we can do it better next time, although I know that deep inside he also wants to trash talk my brother. The two of them got along pretty well and they've been having some online gaming sessions since then. 2 weeks ago, John visited home along with me again for my mom's birthday. There, he surprised everyone, including me, by communicating with Trev through ASL. John was still at the alphabet, some basic words and some rehearsed phrases, but we were all delighted that he even made the effort. Trev's face lit up and I've never seen him happier having a new long-term friend with low communication barriers. Apparently, John had been watching some YouTube tutorials and got a free subscription to Skillshare to learn ASL. The two of them had a gaming session again and this time John and Trev could communicate more directly. Of course, it was still kind of slow and I still had to do some translating. Imagine trying to baby talk to a grown man or talking to a caveman with choppy sentences, but I could tell Trev was having a great time. They also got more comfortable with each other with more explicit trash talking, which I didn't tone down this time. John had been religiously learning ASL since then, and he's making a lot of progress. I was so happy with this, so I told my close friend group from high school. However, most of my friends, especially my closest guy friend, told me that what John was doing was a red flag because it could be a form of obsession and emotional manipulation. He also said it was creepy because John's becoming too attached to my family when we've only been dating about 5 months. He also said that John might only be doing it so he could get laid or something. I know there's some validity to what my friends said, but I'm not really convinced. John has been a wonderful and sincere guy the entire time, and I know it's naive to say this because he's my first ever relationship, but I can't see this becoming long term. Yes, we haven't hooked up yet because I told him I wasn't ready and he never pressured me to do it. However, is this behavior something I should really be concerned about? Again, I don't have any experience with dating and relationships, so I don't know if this is something that's truly concerning. My friends are pushing for me to break up with John, but I'm not sure. How do I proceed with this? What's concerning are your friends. Like, what do you mean? The guy started dating a girl, met her family, liked the family, he liked the brother, and he makes a genuine, sweet effort to communicate with the brother. That is one of the cutest things I could have imagined. And like, your friends are being pretty odd. I mean, he could be an absolute psychopath, but I feel like that's just going way too far just to get laid. I'm pretty sure you can get laid without bonding with a girl's brother and learning a whole language for him. Edit. Wait, whoa, I took a break to work on a paper and there are almost 1K comments now. I'll try to process everything, but thank you for your kind words, Reddit. Yes, John is a wonderful guy and has so far given me no reasons to doubt his sincerity. It's only my friends who planted the seeds in my mind since they've all had experiences with dating and relationships, so the pressure kinda got to me. Thank you for all your insight. You know, it actually made me think that some people will get very mean and toxic about some things because they've never had that themselves. So it kind of like, I think, instinctively pisses them off and they're like, okay, this is not normal. I didn't have it, so it's not possible for you to have it and there is something wrong about it. So they will try to like take it away from other people just because they're like sort of kind of jealous. Of course, that's only in some cases, but this one is just wild. Edit 2. I went to class and did a lot of schoolwork, came back to this post with over 4K comments. I didn't expect this. I'll make sure to read and process everything, but so far, I'd like to thank everyone who weighed in on this. A lot of your insights have been truly eye-opening, and it really looks like I've got a lot of reflection to do with my relationships and connections. Again, thank you so much. The top comment here is your friends are thieves of joy. A guy that likes you is going out of his way to learn how to communicate with your brother. That's adorable. Don't let your friends on it. What a bunch of Grinches. Ooh, we have an update. Yay. First off, I wanted to thank everyone who gave their insights in my original post. As I said, I'm very new to relationships, so reading insights other than my inner circles was very eye-opening. To begin, many Redditors said that my high school friends are conniving, untrustworthy, and ableist people who never bothered learning ASL despite knowing me for a long time. I take accountability for this. I'm not saying they're blameless, but it's not entirely their fault. For some context, our family moved to our area when I was in the senior year of high school due to my dad's job. The friend group, 2 guys plus 2 girls before I joined, was already tight when I came in. They then took me in after we got grouped together for a school project, and they've been with me since. We've been friends for about 4 years now. They're not exactly saints, but they helped me survive my senior year in one piece. They're fun to hang out with, and they were the support I needed when I was struggling. Also, during that time, my brother was having an especially hard time adjusting because of his disability, so my friends never really saw Trev a lot. To be clear, I was never ashamed of Trev. It's just that whenever my friends came over, he either locked himself in his room or was in a different area with his tutor and never really interacted with us. Whenever he does come out, he's really shy and awkward, so my friends mostly just get glimpses of him. By the time Trev became more comfortable in our area and found his own circle, my friends and I have already graduated from high school and don't really hang out regularly anymore. They're friendly and polite with Trev, but then again, they never interacted as much to the point of them actually needing to learn ASL for him. Now for the update. Last week, my friend group had our year-ender party and I decided to bring John along to meet the rest of my friends. My other friend in the group also brought his girlfriend, so this wasn't really weird. Others have done so in the past as well. I've commented in the previous post that John had only met my closest guy friend, I'll call him Mike, 21 male, so I wanted the rest of them to form their own opinions of John after they've met him. Initially, there was some tension and awkwardness from my friend group towards John. They were a bit cold and they were throwing some harsh remarks towards him. Eventually, though, they all warmed up to him and they were actually pleasantly surprised by his personality. We all got along well and we all even had fun in our games. However, I could tell that there was still awkward tension coming from Mike toward John and the rest of our group. He was throwing meaner jokes more than usual and he's kind of isolating himself from the activities. The day after the party, I had lunch with my closest girlfriend, Sophie, 21 female, to clear the air because I could tell that they could also sense something was off. A lot of Redditors speculated that Mike had a crush on me and was jealous of my relationship with John. Turns out, you're all 1000% correct, but it's a lot more complicated than that. Apparently, Mike has had a crush on me since our senior year in high school. However, he's known in our school as a notorious ladies' man and had a new girl with him almost every month. This got exponentially worse during college. He had different hookups almost every night, and he even had a pregnancy scare with a girl last year. I knew about all of this because he bragged about sleeping around every time we meet up. What I didn't know was that the entire time Mike has been making up fake stories about me and him. Sophie told me that apparently Mike and I had a pact that if we were still both single when we were 30, we'd marry each other. Also, he told our friend group that we hooked up after graduation and that he took my virginity then, so he is my special person, whatever that means. He also told them that we've been secretly hooking up consistently throughout college. For context, Mike and I go to different universities that are just about 30 minutes apart. Lastly, Mike told them that I said I'm in love with him. He told our friends not to tell me anything so I don't get embarrassed or upset since I have this image of being somewhat of a prude. Mike also told our friend group that when he met John, he thought that John is a total jerk who had been manipulating me and taking advantage of my innocence and naivete. He said that John had been forcing himself into my family and is driving a wedge between me and my friends. Mike also said that after he had lunch with me and John, he tried to convince me to stay away from John because he's not a good influence on me, but John had effectively brainwashed me. This explains why my friend group was already so antagonistic toward John when I told them about him. For the record, none of what Mike said was true. There was no pact, we never hooked up, and I have never been in love with him. After that, Sophie and I asked the rest of our friend group, except Mike, to jump on a FaceTime call with us. They all shared different versions of what Mike told them. There were a lot more, but I disputed everything. We were all collectively shocked about everything that we learned that day. They apologized for their behavior toward me and John, and I told them I understood given all the lies fed to them by Mike. Then everyone agreed to kick Mike out of the friend group. Sophie suggested that maybe we could have an intervention for Mike first, but I just said that I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. The rest of the group agreed, so we are essentially cutting him off. Sophie said she would still talk to him just to inform him of everything that happened, but I really just wanted to distance myself from him. Now it's been a week of being Mike free. Sophie said that when she and our other guy friend talked to Mike, he became extremely defensive, confrontational, and aggressive. He wasn't physically violent, but called them names, attacked their characters, and made such awful statements about everyone in our friend group that I won't include it anymore. It looks like cutting him off completely was the right call. Now for some more uplifting updates. After reading everyone's comments in my previous post, there were a lot, I reflected on my relationship with John and my friends. I then talked to my parents for advice since they have the best relationship I know of. They told me that from what they saw of John when he visited our home and how I spoke of him, it seems like he's a legitimately nice person with pure intentions. It also helps that John and I have been friends for months before we started dating, so I already knew his character even when there was less pretense of him trying to impress me. He's already impressive on his own though. I then told John about everything that happened and apologized, fully expecting him to be mad at me for doubting him and his intentions. Instead, he said he understood because of course it was just natural for me to trust my friends and expect them to have my best interests. He then asked me if there was any point in our relationship when I felt uncomfortable or uneasy around him, and I categorically said no. I told him that he's my safe space and he has nothing to worry about. He then reassured me that his intentions with me are genuine, and he even said that he sees a future with me, which I reciprocated. Also, John and Trev's friendship is still going strong. Trev has participated in one of John's D&D sessions with his friends friends, and John and I both acted as the translators. We were delighted to see that most of John's friends already know ASL alphabet. Apparently, they have even included it in the lore of their D&D campaign. Also, Trev had been asking John some tips for working out and getting fit lately since they have the same body type, but John is more toned. One of his brothers is a fitness instructor. Also, I met John's family for the first time for their annual get-together. It was super fun. There were games and contests. Also, I wasn't prepared for it, but apparently, since their mom is a theater performer and their dad is a music producer, it was their family tradition to have a talent showcase. They gave me a pass this time, but they told me I should prepare something impressive for the next year. John and his brothers performed Bye 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 by NSYNC in full Deadpool, Wolverine, and Captain America costumes, while his sisters and their husbands did Defying Gravity from Wicked. Their parents did a medley from The Sound of Music. It was a total blast. I felt their family's warm welcome and they really treated me as one of their own. I could see where John got his good values and looks from, though I think I need to start taking voice and dance lessons to keep up with them. So that's it for the update. My relationship with John is stronger than ever and I finally know who my true friends are. If you made it this far, thank you so much for your time. Happy New Year to us all. I wish you guys all the best. John sounds like a literal angel. His family sounds super sweet, and that's so rare when there are like entire families that are just nice and non-toxic and sweet. I'm sorry, I'm getting sad. I just kind of sort of recently decided to cut my family out of my life, so that is just a little bit upsetting, but that's fine. This is really cute. I think it's really adorable. But man, Mike though, that is some narcissistic manipulative bullshit. I also have to say I did suspect that something was going on with your closest guy friend when you mentioned him in the first post, but I was just like, maybe not. But yeah, it turns out he is full-on unhinged, and I actually really like that your friend group kind of communicated well in this situation and all were on your side and cut him out, and as y'all should. I am very adored by this story, I gotta say. The top comment here is quoting, "Then everyone agreed to kick Mike out of the friend group." I believe this is called a mic drop. Oh god, I like wordplay so much. This was amazing, and we're moving on to some less cute unhingedness, which is today I up by matching on a dating app with a woman who believes children are being kidnapped at Disney World and being trafficked to billionaires. As a single professional millennial dude, of course I'm on dating apps. Recently matched with a super cute redhead that lives close by. A rarity. We have mutual friends and are close in age. Chatted for a few days, so when she friended me on Facebook, I figured why not accept. Then I saw the post. The post that said she was so happy Trump is deputizing all citizens to hunt child traffickers. I thought, that's out of pocket, so I asked her about it. She sent me a long message about how Jesus is working through Trump, who is stopping celebrities from farming a youth elixir from children kidnapped from Disney World. Apparently, Mickey Mouse is luring the children into the tunnels below the park. She continued to tell me about how she's already planning on going undercover into these organizations to save the children. As soon as I finished reading it, she deleted the message. I so wish I got a screenshot. So I asked her about Trump's relationship with Epstein, and that, thankfully, I did get a screenshot of. She wrote, "You're taking news at face value without doing the footwork to find out what else was going on. The things that keep me up at night and going to war every day are not the same things for you, and that's okay if we see things differently. Epstein's Island, I believe, is for trafficked humans to be sacrificed and cut up and have sex with and then permanently destroyed. Missing forever. That's a cult, a deep state cult, and Trump has dismantled it. His work is speaking for him. You're reminding me of his past, I'm reminding you of our future. That's our president. Put some respect on his name. After reading that, I blocked her, of course, but not before she told me I could find out what she said is true if I go to the dark web. Since she knows my full last name and was friends with me on Facebook, she now knows where I live, my family, what I drive, and probably thinks I'm part of the conspiracy. You dodged a missile there. Reddit will never stop surprising me, and the story is apparently real. I mean, at least to the point where the OP in the top comments provides an actual screenshot of that message. And the top comment itself is, man, I would call BS on this, but I actually know a guy who believes much of this, and I have heard the Disney thing from him several times. They use the same terminology. It's pretty odd. Yeah, I didn't read this story beforehand, so I thought it was just like about Disney and kids and billionaires, but then Trump came in and I was like, oh, so y'all are full on unhinged. Okay, got it, thank you. Yeah, I do believe we're living during the end times, and probably every generation said that, but whatever is happening around the world, in the US, in my country, in Europe, in anywhere, basically, right now, just makes me think we'll live in a clown show. This is a clown car, and unfortunately, we have no way to get out. I'm laughing, but also kinda want to cry because of this, and that's my current state. Nevertheless, I really do hope that this episode entertained you and took you on some emotional waves. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I will hopefully see you with another video at some point in the future. Take care of yourselves. Bye.